Triple H addresses the use of insider terms during the Netflix opening segment. SmackDown loses an hour of TV time, and New Japan Pro Wrestling announcer suspended due to controversial statements made during Wrestle Dynasty. All this and more in this episode of The News, so let's get into it right now. Starting off with the New Japan Pro Wrestling announcer, Chris Carlton. He's been suspended for 2 months following some words that he said during Wrestle Dynasty, and this is according to Dave Meltzer and Fightful Select. They've both confirmed that he is suspended for 2 months, essentially he called Tony Khan a money mark. I mean, he referred to Tony Khan not by name, but he just called him a money mark for buying all these talents. He made reference to Will Ospreay, Okada, Jay White, pretty much downplaying how important or the role really in AEW. So it is being reported that he is now suspended. Tony Khan is being reported is not involved at all in this suspension. One would think that he would be, but he is not. The suspension was put in place by Bushiroad CEO. The owner of New Japan Pro Wrestling was rumored to be furious over the insults to the business partner. I mean, this was a joint venture between New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW, so they didn't like these insults were being thrown at AEW. During this joint venture, this joint pay-per-view, of course, Wrestle Dynasty was a joint venture between AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and CMLL. So those four companies, I mean, technically AEW and Ring of Honor are the same company, but considering it was a joint pay-per-view, they did not want to see these insults being hurled at AEW Tony Khan from their ring announcers, from their commentators. So how do you guys feel? I mean, personally, I think that this was just kind of like a heel commentator move where he's just trying to, be the homer. The other announcer's supposed to tag team and be the good guy. That's how I took it as. I mean, I didn't take it as anything other than that. But regardless, New Japan Pro Wrestling, they're the ones with the final say. They were unhappy. He is suspended for 2 months. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Moving on, SmackDown is going down to 2 hours, and this was during the press conference at the end of Monday Night Raw. Triple H did not mention when it was going to be going down to 2 hours, but we did get some clarification from Brandon Thurston of Wrestle Economics. He mentioned that from what he's been told, there's a brand new TV show that's going to be debuting on USA Network right after SmackDown, and that SmackDown will be the perfect lead-in for this show. So SmackDown is going down to 2 hours. As for a specific date, Brandon Thurston said that early June, at the beginning of June, is when we will be seeing SmackDown be cut down to 2 hours. But which format do you guys like? Personally, I'm a fan of 2-hour wrestling events. SmackDown has always been best at 2 hours. Raw in their prime was always best at 2 hours. The 3 hours, sometimes it can be hit or miss. So we gotta see it. It all depends on the storylines on the wrestling, because if there's not that much storylines going on, 3 hours is a bit too much. Of course, we suffered through the Vince McMahon Raw era of 3-hour shows where it felt like 3 hours, But recently, like SmackDown, that episode didn't seem like it was 3 hours. Yesterday's Raw didn't seem like it was 3 hours. So the 3-hour format does work if there's a lot of things going on. I mean, if it's just a lot of waiting, a lot of promos, 2-3 matches, 4 matches, terrible matches, then that drags on. But let me know what you guys think. I mean, I personally am excited for the 3 hours SmackDown and Raw, but I do get that SmackDown Prime 2 hours, and that's probably like the sweet spot. That's, you can book consistently at 2 hours. 3 hours is a little bit hit or miss. Also, if you guys missed me and Adrian's live stream, I'm going to put a link at the end of this video here, so just make sure you guys watch it, because we had an amazing live stream. We had a giveaway for Penta, El Cero Miedo, signed 8x10, and we'll be giving another 8x10 away during our live stream, probably Monday Night Raw in San Jose. Make sure you guys watch us, because we'll be giving it away whenever he returns. If he debuts on Monday, if he debuts 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks, or if we do the Veer Mahan return where it's months and months and months down the road, whenever he shows up, we'll do another signed 8x10 that episode. So make sure you guys keep it locked in and watch us here at Triggered Wrestling. But after that amazing episode of Monday Night Raw that we saw, we saw that killer opening of Triple H just running down the history of wrestling, explaining it just down to the art form that it is. It's it's about good guy versus bad guy, baby face versus heel. Is it a shoot? Is it a work? He used a lot of key terms that are used within wrestling insiders, amongst dirt sheets, amongst people in the know, and now is using them to discuss to the broad audience, to us, the laymen's, the fans, right? So he actually explained his use on these keywords and using them in the post Raw show interview, media scrum, whatever you want to call it. He did mention some things, so I'm going to read some quotes out here for you. The reaction seems like we did a good job with it. That was the intent, to capture the emotion and let people know we're not hiding what we do. I saw a lot of chatter today from people saying, oh my God, they said heel and face and shoot and work in one promo. We're not hiding what we do. That's what we do. To be honest, I think most of the world understands those terms and they've almost transcended our business. It is what it is. People know what we are. We talk about it. We're not insulting anybody's intelligence. We're an art form, absolutely an art form that captures people's emotions. We don't take ourselves as seriously as most other people take us. It was all part of trying to capture that and say, if you've watch this, and hopefully we honor what you love. If you've never watched this, watch this. We'll explain it to you what we are, and that was the attempt. And I think they hit it out of the ballpark. For people that have never watched wrestling, it explains what it is. You know, obviously people know wrestling is fake, it's scripted. The in-ring action is not fake, it's real. But the storylines and the choreography, it's like it's theater in person, and that's what it is. And there's stunts, there's a lot more to it, but us as wrestling fans, we get it because we like it. But to some people that just, oh, it's fake, it's this and that, why do you watch it? This was tailored to them because this is going to be on Netflix. This is going to be seen by tons and tons and tons of people experiencing wrestling for the first time in years, for the first time ever. You know, I mean, just little kids, they have a lot more access to Netflix as opposed to using regular TV. For my kids, you know, they know how to work Netflix, but as to working the TV, the Comcast Xfinity, you know, they don't really know how to do that so much. But Netflix, my 3-year-old son could get anywhere he wants on Netflix. So it's going to be a lot more accessible to people being on Netflix. So I get it that this was a great way to explain wrestling to the average fan, to the new fan, to people coming back after, you know, since the 80s with Hulk Hogan, the 90s with The Rock and Stone Cold. So it's a great reintroduction to wrestling for a lot of people. But I loved it. Let me know what you guys thought about Monday Night Raw, because that show was amazing from the opening segment to the last bell. It was great. And it continued on to the press conference. So we got a lot of things to look forward to the next episode of Monday Night Raw. Ludwig Kaiser versus Sheamus. We got the Women's Intercontinental Championship title up for grabs. Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. So let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited? Let me know in the comments, but definitely keep it triggered